Hello, nerds! Thank you for joining me here on Nerd News Clips. This is the second channel. This is the place for all of the short-form content as well as the individual sections and just generally speaking smaller things. If you are into the longer form content, youtube.com/generallynerdy is the place to go see that. With that out of the way, let's get into this. Now let's talk rumor mill. We keep alluding to it this whole episode, so now we gotta jump into it. We have a little bit of everything for the rumor mill this week, so let's just get to it. First up, we have confirmation refutation. This is another refutation. If you remember, we just refuted a rumor about Bruce Willis that nobody really knew was rumor. Now we have a rumor about Elizabeth Olsen getting cast in season 2 of House of the Dragon. So this is technically only a partial refutation, but either way, Elizabeth Olsen has said that she has not been cast to come into season 2 of House of the Dragon. So maybe someone got their information twisted and knew that HBO Max was looking to cast her in some role for season 2, and there's interpreted that as, oh, she's gonna be in season 2. That's potentially what happened, because Elizabeth Olsen's like, nobody's talked to me about this yet. As far as the other half of that rumor that we talked about previously, Henry Cavill being cast, still potentially on the table. So there you go. That is our only refutation or confirmation. We have a new source as well. I alluded to this in the movie section as well to also Tambien. For Blade, the new Blade movie, we've talked about this previously. Rumor is that the storyline is going to be 2 different timelines. It's going to be one story that takes place in 2 different times. And we have new sources saying that this will be the case. That being said, we're not giving this any sort of like increased likelihood because it was already fairly strong to begin with. I don't think this new source is any more reliable than the sources we got it from before, so it still sits, I believe it was like a 70% or something, but that's where it sits right now. So let's get into brand new rumors, shall we? Our first one, our biggest one, I think, for the episode has to do with the new Thunderbolts movie. If you remember, previously, Thaddeus Ross, the leader of the Thunderbolts team in the comic books, General Thaddeus Ross even, previously was played by William Hurt. Sadly, William Hurt has since passed and is no longer able to play the role, obviously. So, how are we going to do a Thunderbolts movie without the leader of the Thunderbolts team? Well, there are a number of ways, and this rumor wants us to believe that they're just going to recast the role of William Hurt with none other than Han Solo himself, Harrison Ford. That's right, they want us to think that Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross is going to be played by Harrison Ford, and therefore, the Red Hulk is going to be played by Harrison Ford. This one comes from really solid sources. So, it really, I honestly think this is going to be one of the times that these very solid sources are incorrect, because I'm giving this about a 40% likelihood that we're going to see Harrison Ford as Thaddeus Ross, Red Hulk. Will they recast the role of Thaddeus Ross? Potentially. They didn't do it with T'Challa because they had an easy out, because in the comic books, that character, or the title of Black Panther, has been held by multiple characters beyond just T'Challa, so sure, let's do it that way. But Thaddeus Ross is Thaddeus Ross, so how do we do that? I think they're going to go a different direction with who leads the Thunderbolts. With a lot of that remains to be seen. That's all we're going to speculate on. Let's move right along. Our next one has to do with Big Trouble in Little China. There are rumors floating around that there's going to be a remake of this Mortal Kombat inspiring movie, and I think that it would be fantastic if they did such a thing. I just don't think that they're going to do such a thing. And honestly, my percentage here is a little high just because I think it would be great if they did this. I just don't see a reason why they would. So we're going to say 35% likely that this will be a thing, a remade Big Trouble in Little China movie. I just don't see a reason. And right now, with money being the way it is, you kind of need a reason to do such a thing. So let's move next to, we have a series of Halo rumors. So first and foremost, we have two specific Halo Infinite rumors. First of these Halo Infinite rumors is that, there have been a number of rumors, and honestly, Sean W. is the one who broke this over. He's got his own YouTube channel. If you like, video game stuff, then he's a good guy to watch. But he kind of started this, and then there have been a number of other outlets that have been talking about it, in that they're going to be changing engines potentially for this game. They're moving from Slipspace Engine, which is their in-house engine that they built at 343 Studios, and they're going to be now adapting Unreal Engine 5. So this one kind of plays in multiple directions, because the rumor in and of itself makes sense if you consider the atmosphere of work that Microsoft likes to harbor, likes to encourage with their development studios, in that most of the labor done is done by outside sources. They effectively bring in a bunch of interns, work them to the bone for 3 months. Once their 3 months are done, they're all released because they're not brought on as full-time employees, and then another new batch comes in to do the grunt work again. So with that in mind, a lot more people in the industry know the Unreal Engine very, very well, whereas Slipspace is proprietary IP, so not as many people know it. So a good chunk of those 3 months is these new people learning this engine, which explains a lot of why they've had so many freaking troubles getting this game to where the community thinks it should be, where it probably should have been when it launched. That being said, that has led to other things of speculation, in that Halo Infinite is going to be abandoned because they're switching engines. They're going to move into this new engine, and people don't know how gaming development works. And so it doesn't make sense that you have a game functioning in two different engines, which I would tend to agree. But that also is based on the assumption that they are actually moving engines, where the last official update we got, granted it was 3 months ago, the last official update we got from 343 was that Slipspace was very much still in rotation. It was very much still the gaming force behind this game, which is their only game that they're doing. So I'm going to give this one a 50%, because there is good reason to do this. This is a fairly good source, but there is also good reason not to do this, and that is they have a AAA title built on a different engine right now. Only makes sense that you would stick with that engine, at least for the life cycle of this title. The other Halo Infinite specific rumor that we have has to do very much more specifically with Bonnie Ross. Remember, Bonnie Ross was the lead for 343 Industries. She was the CEO, I believe, to some degree, at least as far as when it came to development and community and all that stuff. She recently quit. There has been confirmation that yes, she did in fact leave for family reasons. She had to take care of a sickness or something in the family, which seems to be a very temporary reason to leave your job. But if it's something that requires a lot of attention, then it could be a number of months or even years before she could be to a point where she can return to the workforce. So that being what it is, the rumor here is that because it is a temporary reason to leave a job, and because Microsoft is currently trying to purchase other video game developers, very specifically Activision Blizzard, Bonnie Ross is going to be welcomed back into the fold of the Microsoft umbrella and going to be put in as the head of that studio when she returns. So she will no longer be with 343. She will be the head of Activision Blizzard. I think this, again, would be a good thing. It is rumor based on rumor because there is no official confirmation, I should say, that Bonnie Ross has left for these specific reasons, aside from what she herself has said. So I guess it's better than most. But it just, I don't know. There's a lot at play here. This is also assuming that she's not going to go back to 343 as something else in that company. So there's a lot of rumor based on rumor here. So we're going to give this one a 40% likelihood just because I think it's slightly less likely. Our next rumor has to do with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Yeah, so this is the one that we were talking about again in the movies section. Black Panther, the two Black Panthers rumor. Let's address this right now. Will there be two different characters who wear the suit in the movie? Probably. I would put that at a very high probability. As far as will there be two Black Panthers like the rumor suggests by the end of the movie? Probably not. I would be very surprised if we do not see two different characters donning the mantle, or at the very least, the armor of the Black Panther in this movie. In the first movie, we got two different characters with Black Panther armor, so again, probably going to happen again in the future. Now, will there be two different Black Panthers involved with the story? By the end of the movie, no. I think there will be a singular Black Panther. One character will wear that mantle, regardless of gender, that's irrelevant. One character will wear that mantle. I kind of hope it's Shuri, not gonna lie. But either way, that is going to be the way the movie ends as far as I'm concerned. So likelihood that we will have two Black Panthers active at the end of this movie, I'm gonna put at about 30%. Just because I've heard it from so many sources, I can't deny it outright. I can't just shoot it down with the amount of confidence that I would like. So 30% is where that sits. And then we're talking about Midnight Club, gaming rumor. Midnight Club LA is reportedly going to be getting a remake. Remake is somewhere in development, according to leakers even. People who have been able to access information digitally that I didn't quite understand how they came to this information. But again, very solid sources. We have seen evidence of this from these sources, so they have physical evidence to back it up, so that kind of lends in their favor. Midnight Club is a dead franchise, so whoever owns the rights, I'm sure, sees an opportunity and they might want to take it, so we're putting this one at about 60% likelihood we will be seeing I'm more actually 60% for Midnight Club LA, because again, that's specifically what the leaker's talking about. But I think if the more probable option here is that there's going to be a new Midnight Club game, because when you remake a race car game, that just becomes its own thing anyway. So why not just make a new property in this series, right? That seems to make a little bit more sense to me, but I don't know. I'm not a game developer. I can't say specifically. Our next rumor is another video game rumor, and this one has to do with Multiverses, a game that I probably need to put a little bit more time into, not gonna lie. This one has to do with the Joker joining the lineup, and specifically Joker joining the lineup as voiced by Mark Hamill. The Mark Hamill thing, I think, is the reason why we didn't go higher. But we have every reason to believe there have been a number of leaks at this point that have kind of shown that the artwork exists for the Joker in this game. The Mark Hamill thing, he has said kind of mixed things about playing that character in the past, as far as when he wants to revisit the character, usually has to do with something, you know, quality storytelling or something along those lines. So being as there's no real story behind the Multiverses game, that I think is why we're not going any higher than we are, but we are going significantly higher than every other rumor in this episode. 75% likelihood that we will be seeing the Joker in this game. And I think if you want to get specific about the Mark Hamill piece, I would drop that just a little bit more to about 65% for Mark Hamill specifically. I think it's a little bit more likely that they will put the Joker in with somebody else voicing him, as sad as that might sound to most of us. Our next rumor has to do with Star Trek. This one is kind of building off of the stuff that we were talking about in the last episode. This rumor is the obvious rumor that I think a lot of people were expecting, and that is that Star Trek has been completely removed from and canceled by All Things Paramount. So we will not be seeing any more Kelvin Timeline movies. I think this is a hater's wet dream. I don't think this is going anywhere. It comes from fairly weak source. I'm putting this one 25% that they have canceled Star Trek 4. I feel like the hype that they were building was far too effective in where they're wanting to go with this. I think as soon as they find a new director, we'll get another release date, and this rumor will be squashed outright. And then our next one has to do again with Halo. Like I said, we have a number of Halo rumors. This one is not Halo Infinite necessarily, at least not according to the rumor. So there has been a patent out on the interwebs that has been filed by Microsoft, specifically by 343 Industries, which is a subordinate company to Microsoft. And that is for something called Halo the Endless. This was filed, I believe, a number of months ago, and then the patent filing has since been updated and specified in a number of directions that has led multiple people and multiple insiders, quote unquote, to talk about the likelihood that the Endless is the next Halo game. They're going to be abandoning Halo Infinite because some of the vocabulary kind of says certain things. I don't remember because I don't think it's legit, but says certain things that are lending these insiders to believe, yes, in fact, they are going 100% in that direction. They're going to be abandoning Halo Infinite because it was such a horrible rollout. They're going to be adapting this new Unreal Engine 5 and creating an all-new property in that. There is also vocabulary in the patent that says very specifically it's going to be DLC. So we're going 25% likelihood with this one as well, because every official word we have got from 343 Industries. They actually just posted another one of their little teaser things for Forge up on their official YouTube channel. You can go check that out. Everything we've been getting from this is that we're still running in this current engine. Will the next Halo game be also made in Slipspace Engine? Probably not. I would say it's very likely that would be the case going forward, but we still have a lot of ground to cover with Halo Infinite, and as it stands right now, that is still being done in Slipspace. The rumored Battle Royale mode for Halo Infinite, I think there is a way that they can work that into Halo, the Halo Infinite dashboard effectively, and also build it in a different engine. I think there is a way to bridge those things, because the Battle Royale mode would be in a way a standalone situation. There's not a whole lot of information I think that you could transfer over to that from the regular multiplayer into the battle mode. It just wouldn't make sense. So yes, I think maybe the Tatanka project, which everyone at this point believes is the Battle Royale mode, I think that might be getting developed into a different engine. But as far as Halo Infinite, we still have a few years left that they're going to be supporting this game. Again, 25% likelihood that we are going to be seeing the Endless as a brand new game. I think the Endless is going to be a story DLC, which is coming way down the road according to the really poor roadmap we got from 343 Industries. Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long form content, or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.